Welcome to my little spaceship, the Toyota Yaris, or SS Yaris as I'm going to call it, because in here it does feel like you're in some sort of like futuristic spacecraft. It's very, very interesting interior. The instrument cluster is all in the centre of the dashboard, so I have to look off to the left to see the speed and fuel and RPM and so on. All of the center stack of controls down here, which is like, I've got a button here for phasers, one for shields, and another for thrusters. Well, okay, they're actually the climate controls. It is quite a quirky car, at least on the inside. The outside of it is very much generic hatchback looking car. It's not really a bad looking car, but it's also not an amazing looking car. But it is a Toyota, and it came out in 2006, and they sold it through till 2011. And first of all, with being a Toyota, it means that it's a doddle to drive. It's a safe car, and it's also a very reliable car. Those things are just straight off the bat that you kind of already know about this car with it being a Toyota. With this car being a small city car, it is absolutely in its element in town. It's got excellent visibility. You've got loads of glass in the front and the back. It's got very nice easy steering, easy clutch, a nice gearbox. It's got a nice gear change to it, and it's just a nippy little car that you can thread in and out of busy traffic. It's actually reasonably refined as well, so once you get going at higher speeds, compared to say the Honda Jazz of this generation, it's a little bit quieter on the move. Certainly feels more grown up than the Toyota Aygo, the smaller version of this car. In the ride comfort, it's a little bit firm and a little bit bouncy in that kind of small Japanese car way, but it soaks up the potholes reasonably well, and it's not crashy, and it doesn't make a load of noise or fuss about the potholes as you go over them. So something Toyota said about this car when it was new was that it has a very good turning circle. So I'm going to see now, am I going to make a fool of myself here, turning round? No, I'll tell you what, that's really good. I mean, it's apparently got a 9-metre turning circle, so very impressive. There was a few different engine options for this car. There was a 1 litre, which was very underpowered and only really for people who have just passed their test or learning to drive. I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone who actually needs a functioning car that will, be able to go on the motorway and things. The big seller was the 1.33 VVT-i, which is what this car is, and it's actually got a reasonable amount of poke to it. Oh, it sounds hairdryery. Then at the top end was the 1.8 litre SR, which was kind of like the sporty warm hatch version of the Toyota Yaris. It had quite a bit more horsepower, and it had a firmer suspension, more sporty setup, but it still wasn't like a performance car, which, none of these Yarises, they don't really drive in any particular sporty way. In terms of equipment, there's a few different options. This is the TR, which is kind of a middling level, and you've got like CD player, you've got air conditioning, alloy wheels. It's actually got a 6-speed manual gearbox, which is quite impressive for a little car like this. They also had an automated manual gearbox available. It's called the multi-mode, and it actually does change gear for you. It has a clutch, just like a manual car does, but it does it all behind the scenes. Apparently they're not that great to drive, and they're quite jerky, and they can take a bit of getting used to. With these 6 gears, it's very nicely geared actually for high speed. At 60 miles an hour it was doing just 2,000 RPM. Yeah, it's full of little quirky little cubby holes and things. There's one in front of the steering wheel that has like the glove box on the bottom, but also this top part as well. You've got the door pockets, you've got these extra little ones by each side of the centre console, a cup holder in the front, a cup holder there at the back, and then these 2 little things here on the sides of the dashboard as well. It's endless little places to store things. I visited a little country called Malta a couple of years ago, and to my surprise, I'm pretty sure that every other car on the road in Malta is a Toyota Yaris. It's quite a populated island, and there's not that much room, so you want a little car that you can just rely on, that will do everything you need in an economical and practical and reliable and everything way, especially in like the hot climate of that country. Make sure you hit the like button if indeed you are enjoying this video and like it. That would be very helpful. helpful. Thank you. What about the backseat JJ? What do you think? Back here, I'm well impressed with this car. There's enough headroom, enough legroom sat behind JJ. It's very spacious for a little car. So the seats are very clever in this car. First of all, they fold down like most little hatchbacks, but also you can move them backwards and forwards to give yourself either more boot space and less legroom, or more legroom and less boot space. So it's quite a versatile car. And then at the same time, you've got this flat floor down here, which means you've got a lot of space even for the middle passenger can put his feet down and everything. Head restraints that will actually restrain your head in an accident. Like, thing is, JJ, and I've been thinking about this, I'd hate to be a Toyota engineer, and you know why? You can build a car that is everything that a small car should be: practical, safe, reliable, economical, spacious. The motoring journalists can come along and give it 2 stars out of 5. Toyota seem to be just massively underrated in the motoring journalist world, and it's just it's criminal, really. Well, yeah, thank you very much for that little bit of insight there. There's one sort of slightly lacking bit of quality with this car, and it's this: when you shut the door, it just sounds a bit hollow, a bit clangy. Generally, the perceived quality of these cars is lower than German cars. If you're looking at a car like the Toyota Yaris, you probably want a car that is very affordable to run, and you'll be pleased to hear that it really is. This 1.3 engine will get you 55 mpg on your normal kind of driving, and then there was a diesel option that gave you 65 mpg. It cost just £30 a year to tax this car, which is ridiculously cheap in the UK, but it's only insurance group 7, so the insurance will be very affordable. In the mid-2000s, when this car was around, Toyota were super concerned about safety. They were probably making some of the most safe cars out there. And the Yaris, of course, it was no different. It had the 5-star Euro NCAP rating, which you have to have if you want to say you've got a safe car. Probably the first and only small Super Mini available with 9 airbags. So you had just airbags everywhere, even one for your knee. So I've reviewed up now the 3 musketeers of affordable Japanese motoring: the Honda Jazz, the Nissan Micra, and this Toyota Yaris. And I really like this Yaris because it's kind of somewhere in the middle between those 2 cars. You've got the Nissan Micra, which is kind of like a very happy little fun car with lots of great visibility, and it's also got that Japanese reliability. Then you've got the Honda Jazz, which is just incredibly practical with its crazy folding seat arrangement. And this Toyota Yaris, which sits right in the middle and is arguably actually more reliable than even those 2 cars, as well as being probably as comfortable as the Micra and possibly more comfortable than the Jazz, certainly in ride comfort. I think in terms of looks, the Yaris is probably the most normal looking one of the 3, and if you don't want to look, if you want to sort of fly under the radar and have kind of a normal looking car, yeah, the Yaris is a good compromise between those 2. Thank you, Adam, for lending me this car. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.